Hey guys, Thunderstud here, and we are revisiting Resonators. They got 2 new boss monsters and a crazy new skill, so that's how you push them to meta relevance. I do think the Archfiends are better than the Stardust, so this is probably going to be the more competitive deck from the new box, but let's get into it. So I don't want to go over Resonators too much. You know what Resonators do? We got a new trap, and even with the new skill, we can get to the new trap even faster. So that's what brings it back. The only thing I'm using that's kind of off base for Resonators is Sprinter, because it does have good synergy with Roaring Soul that I'll get into later. So regular Resonator stuff, let's just look at the text and the ideas behind the text. So there's pretty much 2 ways you can look at putting text in right now. I would say you can do this for Time Lords, a Forbidden Chalice, a Kaiju who can just go over their monster like a Book of Moon, and Eccentric where you could normal summoner, remove a monster, special summon a Crimson Resonator, special summon a Wild Wind. You're still getting all your plays off. Crazy little monster. So this is mostly for stuff like Time Lords. Book of Moon would also work. I just want to showcase a bunch of techs for Time Lords. If you're tired of Dark Magician, add a bunch of back row hate. It's much more simple. But the Time Lords are a little trickier. These are good ways to get over the Time Lords. But we have the new trap, and you can consistently get it to your field first turn with Roaring Soul. We'll loosely go over what Roaring Soul does. I don't want to talk about it too much. But you can send any Fiend to the graveyard, then you send a Resonator or a level 4 Dark Fiend, so Wild Wind or a Resonator, then you get to add a level 4 Fire Fiend to your hand. So the only level 4 Fire Fiend we have is Sprinter, so that's why we run Sprinter. We can use full effect of that skill. Second part of the skill, if you control a Red Dragon Archfiend, return 1 Fiend-type monster from your field and 1 in your hand to the deck, then set your new trap. And during this turn, defense position Resonator monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Super random with that one. So, we can get this card out as long as we have a Red Dragon Archfiend and a Fiend on the field and a Fiend in hand. So it is kind of a bit, but then you'd immediately get this trap out. What does this trap do? If you control a level 8 or higher Synchro monster, banish all monsters on the field. Super crazy, except the monsters with the highest level, and also the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects. So cool little trap. And if a Dark Dragon type Synchro monster is Synchro summoned to your field, while this card's in your graveyard, you get to add it to your hand. So super strong trap. You get to it consistently with Roaring Soul. We have new boss monsters. We have a level 10 Tyrant Red Archfiend. You're not going to use it all too often. You'll use it about as often as you use Bane. We're still running Bane. What does it do though? During your main phase, destroy all their cards on the field. Other monsters you control can't attack. Very strong. During either player's turn or during the battle phase, just get a negate, and if you do, this card gains 500. It's a battle phase negate though, so it's nothing too crazy. And then we have this new monster, which is a little more important. It's the ultra rare. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend. Super important for the skill to search the trap. And you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters as possible with attack less than or equal to this card. So you can destroy your own monsters, and then you inflict 250 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So you gotta be a little careful with that. But he counts as a Red Dragon Archfiend, so he still works out. And of course, we still have a Nova Dragon who can get their first turn and negate attacks and can't be destroyed and all that crazy stuff. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I'm teching to stop Time Lords. You can tech to stop Dark Magician. Generally, the 2 ways I look at teching this kind of deck, and then it's just regular Resonators with great new support. So, hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. Alright, here we are facing a Hassleberry of all things. We're going first. I think he's just Dark Magician, honestly. Yeah, 3 Crimson Resonators. Not a good hand, really. I mean, it's not a bad hand because we still have combos, but not a great hand. We get to use our skill and get a red sprinter and a bit in our graveyard though, so that's actually really useful. We're going Red Rising Dragon, obviously. We already have a sprinter out, which means we can go with something like Red Resonator to gain more life points, instead of Crimson Resonator since we wouldn't be able to use its effect anyway. Here we go with the Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. We're able to throw away the Fiend on the field, the Fiend from our hand, back into the deck, and set the Red Rain. What does the Red Rain do, guys? If you control level 8 or higher Synchro Monster, banish all monsters on the field whose levels are lower than the highest monster. This guy sees that trap. He's like, oh man, I gotta search my Harpy's hunting ground to stop this trap. But we're still going to be able to disrupt his one monster with the trap. It will banish whatever monster's on the field. Obviously, it's lower than level 8. We wouldn't have been able to wait for the Synchro Monster. Even with the field spell, we would still need to hit the material and not the actual Synchro Monster because it would be 8. Here we use Wild Wind to search Crimson Resonator, normal summon it. It's going to be able to use its effect to full force summon 2 Resonators thanks to us having the Scarlight. Then we gain another 3,000 up to 9,000 life points. There's the Red Nova for over 6,000 attack. Triggers the Red Rain. Set the Red Rain. Recycles itself. Absolutely crazy combos with this skill, guys. Great stuff. Alright, here we are going second versus Yamayugi. All sorts of win streaks with this deck. It is already a very competitive deck. Without the new support, with the new support, it's all very strong. So Dark Magical Circle searches a Dark Magic attack. Well, it doesn't really search it, but gains it. We're gonna use our Crimson Resonator. Roaring Soul, we're throwing a Sprinter away, adding another Sprinter, and a Wild Wind back there. Kind of a lateral move. Now we normal summon Red Resonator, special summon the Sprinter. Boom, we go Red Rising Dragon. I think we don't use its effect. I do use its effect. So if we didn't use its effect, we could have used Crimson Resonator. We could have done a little bit of a bigger play instead of just a Tyrant Dragon here. He's going to Rainbow Light. Tyrant Dragon's actually a good call though, because we got to destroy all his cards. It was mostly bluffs, but look at his resources. Absolutely decimated. Gets a Magician's Rod, hit by our Forbidden Chalice. No search, no 2-card combo in any Dark Magician that's going to stop us, especially not with a Monster Reborn, as he brings out our monster, because he doesn't have any strong monsters. We go Wild Wind, we're going to search Red Resonator. I probably should have searched Crimson. Definitely should have searched Crimson, but we can still make plays with this. We go Red Rising Dragon, because if we go Crimson, we could special summon 2 more Reds, even if it's 1 from our hand, and we can still, or no, we wouldn't be able to normal summon Sprinter anymore, but yeah, 2 Scarlights, or 1 Scarlight, 1 Tyrant Red, swinging over everything, not triggering Destiny Draw, so we really got this duel figured out. Now it's all but over as we normal summon Wild Wind, Roaring Souls once again, just to protect our Resonators that don't exist, and finish the duel. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a zone, however you want to say that. Pretty sure it's Dark Magician though, not Time Lords. So we do have a Kaiju for the Time Lords if we needed it though. Sets a monster. We're gonna set our Wild Wind. He's gonna compulsory evacuation our Wild Wind. Or no, he's Shiranui now that I remember. He's going to try to Samurai Skull. We're going to hit him with the Forbidden Chalice. No mill for him. He does have a Spectral Sword set already, though. That's going to be Coral Dragon. Nothing in his hand to stop our Forbidden Chalice. So he just hits us for 2,400 and calls it a turn. We're going to normal summon Red Resonator. That would have special summon Wild Wind, but he's going to hit us with a Forbidden, our Fiendish Chains. We can special summon Wild Wind though, so we go right into our Red Resonator plays. I don't think I have a Crimson Resonator in there, so we have to go with another Red, which does gain us life points, but Crimson would have continued our plays much further. I think that was another special summon. Yeah, the Wild Wind. Crazy. So then we get another Rising Dragon, another Red Resonator. That's going to be Scarlight Red Dragon. Can't use his effect because it would destroy our Red Rising on top of that. But we can just attack it and do a good amount of damage. His resources are falling thin even for Shiranui. Does have a 6 synchro. Now he's got a Monster Reborn, super clutch top deck there. Brings back the Coral Dragon, which is a tuner, so he's got an Onimaru. But we got a surprise for Onimaru. We're going to use Forbidden Chalice, which means it will not bump up to 6k and one-shot us, thankfully. We have a red Sprinter. We're going to use Wild Wind. Messed that up again. Should have normal summoned the red Resonator instead of the Sprinter. Here, I kaiju'd his monster because I messed up that red Resonator, and eventually he what was that? Fiendish Chained and just timed out on me once again. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are going second against a Yugi. Looks like 30 cards to me, only one is his extra deck. That's pretty random. Probably Dark Magician. He sets 3 back row. We're gonna start with the Crimson. I normal summoned Sprinter. That's already a misplay. I should have normal summoned Red Resonator. Maybe I thought I was gonna be able to get a Red Rain, but obviously we would need one on the field. It's not gonna work out that way. We bring out the Red Resonator. Should have brought out the Crimson. We did have a Crimson. So there's a lot of misplays in this first duel. Or I guess it's not the first duel, but yeah. Shadow Spell my monster, super random. We could have had a way bigger field, but we'll settle for this, I guess. Now I can do the turn properly. We're going to start with the Red Resonator, special summon a couple Resonators. And we can just get rid of that monster without doing anything about the Shadow skill. Wild Wind gives us another Crimson. Boom, boom, that's going to be a Nova. Now we could use our skill and set our Red Rain. We choose not to. He's going to try to trap hole us. It obviously cannot work. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Varus. We're going second. He's got some pretty crazy sleeves of mess there. I think that's a Forbidden Chalice. Or a World Chalice. So he is Rockets. We have Wild Wind and Crimson Resonator, which means they can both special summon. We wouldn't even have to use our normal summon. We could use it on something like Eccentric. Stuff like that. And we had the Forbidden Chalice to negate his monster effects. Something like a Tracer will be able to negate Tracer next turn. He's going to bust out a Booster Dragon. We'll be able to negate that thing. Negate really whatever we want on our own turn. He banished our Red Nova. Can you believe this animal? We need that Red Nova. So we start off with the special summon of the Crimson Resonator, then we special summon Wild Wind, so we haven't used our normal summon. I have a Fiend in hand, so we're going to Red Rising Dragon. That gives us, we go Crimson Resonator. That's going to be 2 more Red Resonators from the deck. They give us some life points. We go into the brand new Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. It counts as a Red Dragon Archfiend on the field. Here are boy scoops after we were going to use our other skill to get our trap card set, everything we needed. We had the chalices to stop his monster's effects, all that great stuff. Alright, here we are. I think I make a bunch of misplays and eventually lose this duel, but it is versus Time Lords, so I just wanted to show the text versus the Time Lords. He's using some crazy Time Lord cards too. So, Empty Machine, getting all this Time Lord Search and stuff like that. But the techs work against Time Lord. Every one of the techs, Forbidden Chalice, Eccentric, or the Kaiju. So they'll all get over a first turn Time Lord board. Here we top deck the Kaiju. He's gonna use Infinite Machine to do a little different stuff. But then we have all our regular combos. And this is actually a pretty good hand with Resonator and Wild Wind and Sprinter and all that stuff, but I do make some misplays here, especially in that normal summon, so it's mostly just to give you an idea of where the techs land versus Time Lords. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Seto Kaiba. We're going second. See what our boys got for us here. We got a Forbidden Chalice, we got a Sprinter, and we got a Crimson Resonator. Not bad because we can throw the Wild Wind into the deck with the skill. It looks like I'm not even using the skill though. We're gonna bring out the Crimson, bring out the Red will bring out the Sprinter. Red Rising is there. Or no, we can't add Wild Wind to our hand. We can only add Sprinters to our hand with the skill. So we bring out 2 Resonators thanks to Crimson Resonator. So we have a lot. We've already gone into 8 with the Scarlight. Then we use all the Resonators and the Scarlight to get this special little summoning intro for the Red Nova Dragon. Super crazy monster. Swing over the Stone of Ancient. Now he's going to bring out a Blue Eyes of his own, where it's obviously much bigger, and we have a Forbidden Chalice. Brings out a Sage of Blue. We're going to save our Forbidden Chalice to something better, like an Azurize, but it doesn't look like he has too much of an extra deck over there with just 3. He's going to try to use an alternative dragon to pop the Red Nova. Obviously that does not work. Spirit Dragon is here. Sets a back row. We get a Sprinter, normal or Roaring Soul. We mill the Wild Wind, get another Sprinter. We can swing with the 6k, swing with the 1700. He's got a counter gate. Not a huge deal. I was kind of waiting for him to use his monster, but he just lets us swing over his Spirit, which is not really a good play, no matter how you slice it. So now he's going to try to use the Spirit to wipe from hand. We're going to Forbidden Chalice it, because it was going to get banished anyway. Tells me he doesn't have a Blue Eyes in hand. We get our Red Range straight up drew. Banish Wild Wind for a Crimson Resonator. He's going to be able to normal summon alongside our boys, but he scoops alongside there, so he wasn't the greatest Blue Eyes player, but I'm only at like 15 in the first stage of the KC Cup. But Resonators have been around as rogue. They are very potentially on tier list. This new support is all really good. The new skill is obviously really good. It's just one of those absurdly long skills that Konami gives to decks that they want to be meta relevant. And this is going to be more relevant than Stardust. So if you're a Resonator fan, hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching this.